Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.
Hi, it's Kerry Lutz. I recently decided to move my retirement account into physical precious metals to hedge against the coming times. If you want to move an existing retirement account into physical precious metals that you can hold in your hand, tax-free, there's no company that can do it more quickly and efficiently than Regal Assets. It took them just 24 hours to open my new IRA account, and all I had to do was fill out one simple form. The best part is that Regal Assets does all the work for you. They cover the setup and administrative costs for 2013. If you're interested in making the same move I did, call 855-678-6620, 855-678-6620. That's 855-678-6620, or visit them at regalassets.com. You'll be glad you did, and tell them Kerry sent you. You are listening to the FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com. I'm Kerry Lutz on 1230 WBZT. With us back, you know him well, Andy Hoffman. And things are just the way they are, I guess. Right, Andy?
Yeah, that's why the last week, both the Fed and the Bank of Japan reiterated their historic QE programs, and why at this week's ECB meeting, which is Thursday, there's increasing calls for a rate cut. I mean, think about it, cutting rates from 0.5%. Can you imagine anyone, even a banker, thinking that is going to change anything? It's just a disguise for more money printing, and as the ECB calls it, forward guidance, and no better forward guidance that we're going to keep printing and do whatever it takes than lowering a rate that's almost zero already to zero.
Unbelievable. What else can they do here?
Well, they don't theoretically, if you're talking about the ECB, they don't theoretically have a QE program. So far, they get their money through the swap agreement with the Fed, which is essentially a Fed QE program that supports European banks, but because it's called swaps and not direct loans, they don't have to count it as money printing. So they like doing that so they can pretend they don't have a QE program. Instead they just lean on Draghi's, don't worry, I'm going to do whatever it takes if I need to do it. Promise that there's going to be more money printing. And of course, they're going to have to do their own QE program soon, because no matter how much they prop up their stock markets, the facts don't lie. Just last week, it was published that Europe again hit a new all-time high in unemployment. Spain had all-time high in bad loans. They're having strikes across Portugal and Italy now over austerity. France is literally a basket case. Their economy is contracting dramatically as they're raising taxes. I mean, they're going to have to, you were saying you expect it the focus to shift to Europe sometime soon. And I don't see how it has ever shifted away from Europe.
Yeah, it really hasn't. But as far as the headlines in the media focusing on it, things are so bad in the U.S. right now with Obamacare and just the economy and the doldrums and the NSA and all the bad news. The focus of attention is on the U.S., but it will shift back, I predict, imminently to Europe. I think riots and major social unrest are going to break out in Europe real soon, shifting the media back to Europe.
Well, they're ongoing right now, not bloody ones, but they're, as we speak today, they're going on in Portugal and Italy. And pretty soon, I think France is going to be, I call them the PFIGs, meaning pigs plus France, because France is now the weakest of all the European countries. It's amazing. They're doing as bad or worse than all of the pigs, thanks to their amazing president, Holland, who now has the lowest presidential approval rating in the history of France, and he's only been there for a year or so. So, yeah, something has to give soon. By the way, next month, they're talking about a third Greek bailout, Greece that was somehow supposedly saved by the last bailout, which now has its own record unemployment and record bad loans. they're going to take probably another bailout next month.
Yep, it's going to be soon. That's for sure. I think it's coming up. There's no question about it. The collapse is going to enter the next phase very shortly. And
Perhaps.
I think it is. I think we're getting to a new phase where all the government, illusions, the alchemy, it's going to stop working soon, and then we get to what the real crash, as Peter Schiff called it, is going to take place.
And ultimately, to me, I'm focused more on simply their Achilles heel, which is the amount of physical gold in the system. And you could say what you want, say I work for a bullion dealer, blah, 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 but I was talking about this stuff in 2002. I only started working for Miles Franklin 2 years ago. I've said the same things for 11 years now. And the fact is we've never seen it more so than we are right now. Just this week, just on Friday afternoon, I said Wednesday and Thursday that the Fed would be probably attacking gold because Thursday was first delivery day for the October contracts for gold and silver. There was like 500,000 ounces up for, standing for delivery that could have been taken. And sure enough, we saw 50,000 ounces withdrawn on Friday. So we're now at an all-time low of just 658,000 registered ounces in the Comex inventory. That's just $1 billion worth of gold. In April, before these attacks started, you remember the 2-day attack in the middle of April, there were 3 million ounces. Now there's 650,000 ounces. It's a pittance. Same with silver. There's only $1 billion worth of silver, representing the bottom of this pyramid in the Comex pit. It's truly amazing to see. And when you realize just how much physical gold has been purchased in the West this year. And don't forget the U.S. Mint record Silver Eagle sales this year. Record sales. Obviously, the offtake is off the charts this year, and something has to give soon.
Yeah, something is going to give. And where did all that gold go to?
Good softball question. Well, I think the listeners know very well where it's gone to because it's very public that China's overt purchasing just through Hong Kong, that's the only place that they publish them, has doubled this year from last year's record levels. And of course, we know that in India, the premiums have soared to record levels too, in some places up to $200 an ounce over the spot price. And then, of course, you have the black market. So you've seen tremendous amounts of gold move to the east this year. I was just reading a great article called China's coup d'etat, gold coup d'etat this year, and it just documents how the Swiss there's been so much exports from UK, from the LBMA, and probably from the GLD ETF into Switzerland, where they get refined and then sent over to Asia. And it's really remarkable how China is setting the stage to be the next global reserve currency.
Yeah, and it's so obvious, and yet the majority of the population in the United States and the rest of the world seem completely oblivious to it.
Right under our noses. They're saying we want to de-Americanize the world and get rid of the dollar as the reserve currency. And they are acting, not just talking. And yet, again, as I started my piece this morning, as long as the stock markets go up, the mainstream won't write anything. They won't write anything good or bad. They just literally go to sleep, especially during the weekends. You have to go to places like Zero Hedge to see the real facts and see what's really going on, say, in France or in Italy, because they just won't report it unless there's something bad to report.
Yeah, well, their function is no longer to report, right?
That's right. I was debating this in my mind today because their ratings are better when there's bad things to say. But then again, when things are good, it's just boring. No one wants to read, yeah, things are all right, things are recovering. No one even believes all that stuff anymore. It's almost like people have stopped reading. They've stopped watching the stock market, the average person, because they don't own it. They've stopped reading the mainstream to the point where, are they really even viable anymore? It's just kind of like this floating miasma world where you just see a train wreck in slow motion and no one does anything about it. In America, remember, the majority of people either have, they're no longer middle class. They're they're either lower middle class, or they're in the poverty class, or they're on food stamps. So people are just not paying attention anymore to anything. And, it's just a very dangerous concoction of apathy that has to erupt into something sometime soon.
Yep. And, speaking of apathy, you see it the same thing with Obamacare. Millions of people losing their insurance across the country.
Yeah, I'm on record for saying I think Obamacare is probably, when they first announced it, that it's probably the worst piece of legislation in American history. I don't think there's any better way to take a nation down at the knees that's already down than to put out this monstrosity, which, let's face it, the people who wrote it don't even know how it works. We know the people in Congress didn't read it, and it's 10,000 pages long or whatever, or 20,000 pages long. This is complex stuff involving, millions and millions of lives and trillions of dollars. And just this one piece of information you're talking about, where it turns out a lot of people who thought they could keep their insurance are going to have to get rid of it and re-up into the system of Obamacare. And you know what happens when you re-up into the health insurance system? You start at higher levels, and that's what everyone is going to be seeing right now, which just a few months ago, no one heard of. This was unheard of. No one even mentioned something like this could happen.
Yep. And of course, you and I knew about this long ago. I mean, I knew it. I was planning for it. And part of my health kick was getting healthy, because I knew that not only would health insurance be more expensive, but the fact is that after the first of the year, it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to take you longer to see a doctor, to get a hospital procedure done. So you better go and get more healthy. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I was just looking at some statistics today that showed how, in recent years, the United States had statistically the best health care, meaning you'd pay the least and wait the least amount of time for procedures. So what are we going to do? We're going to change the system to make it like all the other countries where it's so bad. I mean, you talk about people not seeing the writing on the wall. I mean, what we are doing here is turning into a socialist healthcare system. There's no other way to describe it. It's no different than in Canada or in Britain or in France. And all of those places have something in common. They pay 50% tax rate on that's the median income tax rate for people. I mean, 50%, that's coming here, not 35%, not 30%, not 38%. It's going to be 50%. And of course, the states are going to go up, and everything else is going to go up with it. And I mean, there's no better way to destroy a nation that's already down than to do this.
Yep. Well, kudos to Obama and Congress. You've done a wonderful job. Thank you so much. I think that about wraps it up for this week, Andy. It's just about enough of this upbeat, uplifting, inspirational talk that I can take here.
Boy, I wish I had something positive to say. I'm dying to wake up and see something that encourages me. And I'm just besieged by what I call horrible headlines every day, more so than any time in my lifetime. What can I do about it?
Buy gold and silver. That's really what it comes down to,
From a financial standpoint, that's the only thing I could think of. And then, of course, there's other preparations outside of the financial realm.
Okay, and you know what? Increase your bonds with your neighbors, your friends, your family, and, emphasize, concentrate on the important things in life, because in the final analysis, that's really what matters. And divorce yourself from the political goings on, what's happening in Washington, and really concentrate, focus yourself on what really matters in life. And don't let those people bum you out. Don't let them get inside your head, right?
The way I'd write it, for my piece, friends, family, and colleagues, don't even try to incorporate them and convince them into anything. We convince people, you and I, through our business. People come to us. They come to your program, they come to our blog, and they come to Miles Franklin because they have educated themselves and want to learn. There's no way you're going to be able to teach people that don't want to learn these things. So as far as your friends and family, I just say forget it. I forgot about it a long time ago.
And on that note, milesfranklin.com, financialsurvivalnetwork.com, got a great newsletter coming out this week on Obamacare, on what you need to do going ahead. So think it over. Sign up, financialsurvivalnetwork.com, subscribe, and of course, subscribe to Andy's newsletter. It's must reading. Andy, next week, same time, same bat channel, and all that stuff. Actually, you know what? I think I'm coming back from L.A. on Monday, so we aren't going to talk. We'll be talking on Tuesday, okay?
Tuesday the 12th. Okay, got it.
Okay, so we'll talk to you then. Be well.
Great. Take it easy.
Bye. What happens if the collapse never really comes? You need income, and Jason Hartman can help you get it. He's helped thousands of people realize their dreams of financial independence through real estate investing, and now he's got an unbeatable offer for you. He's offering my ebook, Forget Wall Street, Go for the Gold and Silver Too, for free. Just visit jasonhartman.com/Lutz. The first 100 Financial Survival Network listeners will get the book free. Remember, you can't afford to put all your eggs in one basket. Real estate should be part of a balanced investment portfolio along with gold and silver. Just go to jasonhartman.com/Lutz and sign up today. When it comes to real estate investing, Jason Hartman is the only person we trust on the Financial Survival Network. So make your money work as hard as you do by building an income property empire. Real estate is America's proven investment. Go to www.jasonhartman.com/Lutz and get your free ebook today. That's Jason, HARTMAN.com/Lutz. That's Jason, HARTMAN.com/Lutz. Jason knows how to help you retire with a portfolio of income-producing property. Go to jasonhartman.com/Lutz.
The Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.